people are ready to go. Have a good night, Jace. Have a good night, everybody.
Ding. Hello, everybody. Tuesday evening. My name is Ose, and we are playing Farm Sim 19 on Estancia, Lapacho. And let's see how this looks. Well, everything appears to be put away. Last we left off, I believe, I was ploughing this bit of ground. Yes, indeed. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome. So, I'm going to continue today chopping down a few trees. I need to turn that volume down a little. And move my pedals. Let's go. Oh, steering wheel feels a bit loose tonight. So while the stuff is growing on this field, I'm slowly expanding it on this side. I'm going to have to go back and finish off the edge, I think, because there's some bits there I missed. Anyway, let's find trees. I think I got most of the trees at this end, it's just at the other end. We need to make some room. But the problem I was finding is most of the trees are in these shrubs. It's almost impossible to find all the logs. Oh yeah. We are also playing on 1.2 beta. So the tractor's lights will now stay on. Zonk. Oh, that was quick. Okay, that's one branch. Hopefully they haven't messed up the... oops. He says dropping the tree limb. I was going to say hope they haven't messed up the tree physics, but it looks like some of these are going to be a little bit... This appears to be quite a light tree. I'll try and pick a bigger bit. Cool. Yep. So let's chop that bit. Now, so long as that ring is green, I can chop through the branch. So long as it moves when I grab it, I can pick it up. Unfortunately, there's nothing that says, oh, this is too heavy for you to move. Gee. Okay. How's that look? Gonna wave it around. There we go. So that bit comes out too, and then we drop it. There we go. Seem to have got that bit. I haven't found as much success running along the length of the branch. I haven't tested the harvester yet. I don't have anything to harvest, but we will find out. I loaded the patch today. Yeah, I haven't found as much success running along a branch and trimming it, the old way where you just sort of point the chainsaw at the ground and then run down the branch. I haven't found a lot of success trimming the bits off doing that. So long as you cut the branch or the trunk close to where the trash limbs are coming off, it will clear them off. It's also quite a bit more handy in how it got a little bit left at the end there. So long as it's close, it'll strip that. But it's also a little bit more more or less fine about how it cuts things. So if you've got 2 or 3 limbs that are close together, if you wave the chainsaw around enough, you can actually select different limbs to cut. So like here, that's going to cut through both of those. But then I can come to here and I can select that one, I can select that one, I can... if there's a branch behind something, I can select that just by moving the chainsaw around. I could probably hit that branch over there, although that's blue, so I can't cut it at this range. I can cut through that. Oops. So I can cut both of these, and by moving the chainsaw up and down, I can select which one I end up cutting. Now, Farm Sim 17, it would just cut the closest. Well, okay. Cut that there. Oops. Let's turn blue again, turn green. And there's a bit at the end of that one. Need to be a bit closer so that it's green and being done. Looks like there's some at the end of this as well. So there we go, that's trimmed. Yep. Oh, the trailer's over there. Let's move that up a bit. Am I 100 followers already? That's cool. Followers are slowly building up. I managed to make affiliate on exactly the same day Arthur was eligible for partner. Because for affiliate you need 50 followers, but you only need an average of 3 viewers an hour, so not a big deal. Oh, there we go, and the bit at the end. Nope. That's not being happy. Okay. There we go. Oops. Okay. Okay, no leaves on that bit, so that must be from the remaining piece. And that looks like it's done too. Nice. Oops. I also, since I only downloaded it today and I haven't had a chance to mess around, I haven't reconfigured any of my field mappings or keyboard bindings. So I'm still working on the old keyboard binding map. Exit. Then I'll need to run over, get the stump grinder, grind those 3 stumps off. So there you go. Cut 2 bits at the same time. Now I don't need to be climbing these trees, thank you. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, I missed a bit. Oh, that bit's over there. Not sure how easy this is going to be to fit in the trailer, although I can pick it all up. Okay, that's that bit done. Come on. There you go. Okay, so we know I can pick that piece up, although it's probably not going to sit well in the truck. If it works, don't knock it. Okay. No, pick that piece up. There we go. There. Oh, come on. Foliage does get in the way at times. Oh, I got that bit just then. Okay, that bit's cut. Also not sure how much money I'm going to get for these, since they're not straight or true in any sense of the word. But we're just looking at clearing out this area of, oh, hello, the area of ground and ploughing this field bigger. I'm not really interested in making serious money from the trees. Okay, what do they look like? Gonna need to cut that one, but we're done for the rest of that field. I'm gonna leave that till I clear a few more shrubs out. So off we go. Now if I was using this in flatbed mode, I'd be able to tie all those down. Pretty sure, yeah. Huh. Well, the ploughed ground is a little rougher. Also, the other thing I want to try and do is to terraform the ground around our shed. Oops. I may not do that today because I want to be able to save it and... I could save the game and try and terraform the ground and hopefully not run out of money while I'm doing it. Looks like it might have reset my dead spot in the middle of the steering wheel. There's probably a whole host of other things that have been reset. Okay, no train. I'm guessing it probably needs a bit of refinement, but also it will take some practice to get it right. So, only 1,131. Not so valuable trees. Well, I've been kind of cutting some of those very dense palm trees. I think I can get up to about 3,000 for those, but those little sort of European style trees, they're not quite so dense. I mean, I was cutting long pieces there. So, not quite so dense, they not as valuable. And also, short stubby trees, so not so much wood either. Okay, we can take this back to the farm. And we'll grind some stumps. The stump grinder is vastly improved from Farm Sim 17. And I'm talking the tractor one. I don't have any skid steers because that's equipment I can't really justify the expense of at this moment. I want to make sure I've got the equipment I need for doing the jobs I have the most of. We've got harvester, we've got the Deutz plugged into a spray, we've got the lime trailer, we got a pickup wagon, loading wagon, which I tend to use for things like straw. I don't have a mower, so I can't do mowing stuff. I'm going to need to lease a roller as well at some point. The tree stumps were down where the field's not straight, around about here. So there's one. And bing, gone. That's how easy it is these days. Now, is there another one here? Yes. Right there. And it's not like Farm Sim 17. I think it had to be right on the edge of... Yeah, you sort of lined it up and then you put it over there. The tree stumps here. Your spinning discs over there. And you'd turn it on and then you'd move it in very slightly until it started kicking up wood chips. And then you knew, yes, it was going to work. But this one... The sensitivity is far less restrictive. Okay, we chopped down 3 trees, so that's done. Go and get the plough. Go and get the plough. I should probably check on the state of the fields, because I might need to do some harvesting soon. Oh yeah, I saw the one about the storage tank falling through the ground. I've also seen, it looks like someone's working on a larger fuel tank mod. Drop. Thank you. That's the wrong end. Let's go the other end of that. Plan is to go to the end of where I have marked here. It's that key there, and that looks like it's working. Let's go. And the stump grinder and the plough are on lease, because it's not the sort of equipment I'm going to need day in, day out. I don't intend to run a professional logging operation on this farm. This is an arable farm with some chickens. Now it just takes these shrubs out, no trouble. As I was saying earlier, the problem I had was I was chopping down those trees and then I wasn't able to find the wood because of all the shrubs that are on the ground around them. I've missed a bit. I will go back and redo that piece. Okay, so that puts me right up against that tree. Oh, helps if you unfold the plough, you plough of greater width. Ah well. I'm crashed into that tree. Let's pick that up and try that again. Take as much of the shrubs out as possible so I can get as close to that tree as I can. And we'll need to come back and fill that strip in, which I missed. Hey J Godwin. I'm using the G29. which I use for both Farm Sim and Truck Sim. Normally when I play Farm Sim, while it doesn't have force feedback, it usually self-centers. At the moment that seems to be dormant, so usually the way I found to reset that is to unplug the USB port at the back of the PC and plug it back in again, and that fixes it. Truck Sim, you have force feedback active on that. Okay, lift, flip, turn around, and fill in the gaps. There's definitely some movement here. So I need to chop that tree down, and I think the one at the other end. There's a bit of grass on the left again. There's a piece there. Still got a bit of that left. I don't have an Xbox 360, so I don't have a controller for that either. So, 2 more trees to chop down, and we can finish expanding that field. I think first things first, I'll check on the status. I think we have to do another round of fertilization here. Okay. Hello, fields. Growing, growing. What the heck's that? Oh, that's ploughed. Okay. And needs lime at the top. That's fully fertilized, that's not. So if I have crop in that other field, let's go have a look. So all this bit along here, I need to Hello. Okay. That bit needs to be fixed. And yes, we can go and fertilise that field. I thought that bit was a bit rougher. There's a bit of a climb up here, which I could do with levelling out. But at least the roadway's flat. Jump out and get in that one. We have no fertilizer loaded. We have a fertilizer tank here. Yes. Yeah, when I placed the chicken coop, whatever, pen, it created that lovely big jump. There's a bit of a drop coming out of the garage, the shed there, which could probably do with smoothing, but it's not that drastic. I've gone airborne a few times driving past the chickens, especially in this tractor that does 32 miles an hour. Okay, this tree needs to go. Is there another tree I needed to chop? I thought there was another tree I needed to chop down. Probably that one at the end. Okay. So, let's finish these trees off. Yeah, Thomas would probably have a lot of fun on this map with that chicken farm area. That's a big chunk of tree there. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pick that up. Nope. Oh wow, still not. Okay, I guess we're going to have a couple of little picnic stumps to sit on. There we go. Yay. So that must have been just the wrong size. So I'm going to cut the tree at the back. Like that. And then I can cut the one at the front. And I don't think it's going to let me do that one. Okay, let's cut it that way. Yeah, when I was cutting trees this size down on, or this shape down on Old Stream Farm in Farm Sim 17, I'd usually use a chipper because this wood really isn't worth anything. Oh, yes, it probably is. Let me turn that down a little bit more. Okay, can't pick that piece up. Still can't pick that piece up. How's that sound? There we go. Oh, you're not going to let me do that one either. No, I just know that Thomas likes to jump trucks off mountains and stuff like that, so having a crazy truck jump right by the chicken area, whoa, come back, he would enjoy that. That goes in there. I'm guessing you belong there too. There we go. Oh, you're not going to come? Well done. It's funny how I could drag that around while I was holding a light piece of wood, but I couldn't drag it around with my hands. You're still not going to let me pick you up? Ugh. Oh, that was the Lawfolds farm. I had 160 sheep, and they're producing like 2 pallets of wool per day. So I figured, and eating a whole ton of grass. So I figured it's probably time to get rid of some. So I sold 40 sheep. No, that's not actually the first sheep I've ever sold from a farm. On Farm Sim 17's Old Stream farm, there was a cap limit of 100 sheep in the farm. So to maximize my income, what I did was I would wait until I got 100 sheep, load up a truck, sell 20, and then they would produce more sheep, for a day or two, and then I'd be back up to 100, can't have any more sheep, sell 20, and I'd just keep doing that. So you're making money not just off the wool, but also off the spare sheep. Now on Lawfolds, there doesn't appear to be a limit on the number of sheep you can have. So that's kind of, well, I could let the sheep carry on breeding forever, but they're progressively using or needing more hay, more grass, more water, and I figured yeah, 130 sheep's probably sufficient. So, time to get rid of a few. So the locals are having mutton and shepherd's pie. Now, obviously, with pigs, they don't produce anything but more pigs. So pigs are designed to be sold. Plus, bacon's tasty. That's true. I'm probably not able to pick that up either, so we will try there. Okay. Is that a tree branch sticking out the front? Oh, that's a tree branch sticking out the front of my tractor. That's going to detract from the value of the wood. There we go. If it's anything like Farm Sim 17, having bits of wood on the edge of your main trunk with leaves on tends to result in a lower value of wood. You need to clean it up before you sell it. And while this wood really isn't worth much, it's a little bit better for it to be worth a little bit, not much more than practically nothing. Okay. Okay, let's start here. Whoa. Tree falls down. Okay. I think that's all of that, and that's too heavy again. Well, yes. Although I don't think Giants admits to it. At least not when it comes to sheep and cows. You buy sheep to make wool, you buy cows to make milk. And poop and stuff. You don't buy cows to supply the local Texas Roadhouse steakhouse. At least not officially. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I'm going to get all of this and the other tree in the truck in one trip. Oh, be closer. There we go. And that one's too heavy too. Okay, yeah, take care. Yeah, it really depends what sort of farm you run. We have some friends who I believe were running a dairy farm, and they've decided that's hassle, so they're now producing meat. Oh, this is misbehaving. I think that worked. It's not letting me jump back in the trailer, so we won't worry about it. And that's way too heavy too. But in Farm Sim 17, it's, breeding beef cattle. It takes so long for the cows to breed, unless you have a serious number of cows. In general, you're not going to make a lot of money off of selling beef. You're always going to make more money selling the milk. At least you were on FS17. I don't know how milk compares on 19. Like that. They all stay where they are until it's finished chopping. On this farm I bought chickens just to see what chickens are like. On my private farm, which I don't stream, I bought sheep just to see compare how sheep work against how they used to work. But I haven't really gotten far enough in that, plus the sheep were bugged. The first problem was you feed them once and then they have food for the rest of their lives, it seems. Because every time I bought 15 sheep, stuck 2 bales in, so 8,000 hay. And at the end of the session I bought 15 more sheep, and when I checked on them there was 21,000 litres of hay in the trough. And I can't put any more than 21,000 litres in the trough. And every time I check, there's still 21,000 litres. So either the sheep aren't hungry, or there's a problem with how the trough fills up. Either way, that's a problem. And then a minor niggly bug is when you log in, it's reset the information page. So where is it? If you go to here and it says I have 44 litres of eggs, at the beginning of a session it will say you have 0 litres of wool. If you go and look at the sheep pen, there could be half a pallet of wool there, but it's not counting it, and it just doesn't count it. And so as the pallet gets more full, you eventually get to the point where there's 1,000 litres of wool in the pallet, and the amount on that information page is what you've added this session. Now, once it generates a new palette, what it says on that page is what's in the new palette. Oh, stay there. Come on. That probably went over. But that's just a minor issue. I don't think I'm losing any wool. It doesn't appear to be. It's just that what's being reported on the animal information screen is not necessarily what you see when you go and look at the animal pen itself and what's sitting there. The wool pallets are half the size that not necessarily half the size when you compare the physical dimensions of a wool pallet, but they contain only 1,000 litres of wool in a pallet, where Farm Sim 17 was 2,000 litres of wool. That's interesting. I haven't come across a problem with stuff in a silo that I can't get my hands on, I must admit. That could be a problem. Okay, so that was 2 more trees. Again, we'll very carefully take this down to sawmill. Try not to get hit by a train, because I wouldn't relish trying to pick up all the logs of wood. Coming up to the turn. I think this is the worst weather I've had so far playing Farm Sim 19. Is the dull and overcast. I still haven't had any rain. But on this farm I haven't bought a silo yet, so everything I harvest has to go to market immediately. In my start from scratch on Felsbron, I don't have a farm yet. All I have is grass field. Oh, that was better. 3,600. So that big heavy tree was definitely worth more. Let's just cheat. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. And the road's just over here. Really? Okay. That'll be something to watch out for. I mean, on Farm Sim 17, I played a lot of hours with seasons. So it rains, you can't do anything. Any straw or hay on the ground is completely lost when it starts raining. So you need to make sure you bundle that up as fast as possible. Oops. And we'll jump over to this. Oh, that's why you got them. That's why the worker went home. Yeah, that really, I mean, as far as the base game was concerned, um, you just couldn't harvest crops when it was raining, except potatoes and sugar beet. You could harvest. You couldn't use a mower while it was raining, or for a while afterward. If you ran seasons, seasons made the crop moist when it rained, and so you had to wait until the moisture dropped to a sufficient level to be able to harvest. Now, with seasons running, potentially you could lose crops, because if it was the last day of fall and you were harvesting and it started raining, chances are you weren't going to get the harvest completed by the time winter started. And as soon as winter starts, the crops die. So that was a problem that was a problem a farmer could face with seasons, is not getting your crops in before the winter. Not that far back. Forward a little bit more and unload that. So I am sure the next time I need this sprayer will be because there's weeds on the field. Come on. There we go. Probably almost close enough. There we go. Okay. That's also interesting. It would appear that when the engine's off, you can't change the light setting. So the engine's on, turn the lights on, turn the engine off, and the lights are stuck. Turn the engine on, I can turn the lights off. Okay. I'm going to suggest that's probably a bug. Oh, right, yes. Yeah, that will happen. But, yeah, base game of Farm Sim, you can't lose crop, you can't lose animals. With seasons running, if you don't feed your animals, they's going to die. So, somewhere up here, right there should be a stump. I need to lift that up a bit, move forward, and turn it on, and that should delete it. That was so much hassle in 17. Where this thing just had to be in exactly one exact position to destroy the stump. And if you were slightly off, you could sit there with that disc running for 20 minutes and it would still stay there. There we go. And that's gone. So eyeballing that looks like we can make it all the way to the end. And that looks like a piece of wood in the middle of my field. Yep. Well, I'll pick that up later. You could basically not load the mod. in which case all of the season's code would be turned off. It's like some YouTubers would start a map off camera, not using seasons. They would buy all their equipment and a load of other stuff, and then they would activate seasons by saying, okay, season, it's select the mod you want to use. So they would select seasons as the mod they wanted to load, and they would be starting first thing in the morning on the first day of spring, but they would have all of their equipment as opposed to the equipment that the farm starts you with. Obviously in Farm Sim 19 that's not going to be a problem, because you could start in either farm manager mode or I don't have another weight. I do not have another weight. Okay. Yeah, you could just start the farm in a different mode and buy the equipment you want. If you start the game obviously as a new farmer, you get a farm, you get assigned a set of fields at the beginning, and you get assigned starting equipment. But in every other mode, you get to pick what you have and what you're going to use. Let's unfold it this time. That's a good plan. Let's move over a bit. This is behaving like this ground is not flat, which could be an improvement. Okay. Now that, start rolling. So it's pretty much like with anything. If you deselect a mod on a save game, you'll get a warning that stuff is going to disappear because you've unselected a mod that you were using, but it'll still let you proceed. So that's why my original Old Stream Farm game on Farm Sim 17, I can't play it anymore because I deleted half the mods that I was using on it. And so I get in the farm and I'm missing the trucks, I'm missing some tractors, I'm missing some equipment, and it's just sort of, I can't even remember which mods I was using. So this game's done type of thing. So the moral of that story is be very, very careful when you're cleaning up the mods you're using, because you could very well end up with mods that you are using on a farm not being there anymore. And then you either have to accept your lot in life and say, well, I've lost my harvester, but that's no big deal, I'll just buy a different one. Or, you're not going to be able, you've got to go and find that mod again and reinstall it. We can probably go back and redo that stretch. That looks to be about the width of a plough. Stop. Forwards, drop. I believe there was a strip of grass somewhere in here. Yes. Right over there to the left. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plough in some of these hedges around the edge of the field to give myself a little bit of room. I will then lease a roller and just tidy out the edges of the field so that it's relatively straight. So these shrubs need to go. I'll leave that big clump there. Flip that the other way. I'll run that one over. And at least a row of these. We'll take that one out. I'll run down here. There's a tree there that won't get in the way. I just want these shrubs cleared off the edge of the field. Clear this out. That one, maybe, or not. Okay, and there's a clump over here at the end that I'll get rid of too. Go back and do those the other way. I'm not going to worry about the grass in the middle of that because this is not going to be part of the field. This is just space, so we can see the edge of the field. Okay, what's that look like? Yeah, good enough. Okay. Stop. Garage. Leased items. Return. Yep. And that. Return. Yep. Back. So the next thing I need is... back in there again. We'll lease that. We'll figure out how that works next. I need to pull that piece of wood out sometime. Now with seasons, you could cultivate snow so long as it wasn't on a field. And running a cultivator through your farmyard would make all the snow disappear. But as soon as you put it down on a field, it would say you can't cultivate a field while the ground's frozen, or something to that effect, which was quite amusing. I know someone did a mod for, I think it was the Kverneland solid fertilizer spreader, and created a big bag of salt. So you loaded the spreader up with salt and you could drive around spreading salt around, which would destroy the snow. Someone else modified the tractor mounted forage harvester into a snowblower. It's all clever stuff. You could I wouldn't be surprised if you could plough the snow. but cultivators tend to have a bigger working width, so cultivating snow was a little bit more efficient. There's the little roller. I've never used this before, so this is going to be a learning experience. Yes, the issue I found with plough trucks and things like that, it's like the silage blades, is that they collect, they don't push. So what can end up happening is once it's loaded, you've got to angle it in a way to unload it off the road, or off the area you're pushing the snow aside for. It can be a bit. I think the easiest way to say it is it can be a bit frustrating, because what you want to do is push the snow, and what you're not doing is pushing it. You're collecting it in something that was not really designed to collect stuff. But that's the mechanic that the game uses, and you've got to find some way of then emptying it. Okay, so I'm going to need the help screen up for this. Unfold trailer, button 5. That makes sense. I presume I have to do that so that I can connect to it. So, here we are. Oh, it's trailed? Okay. That's a shame. I think I prefer the old one where it was... you could mount it, hard mount it to the front of the tractor, and it would have been much easier to control. So... am I just going to drag that around? Okay, this could be a bit tricky. Well, I guess we'll figure it out as we go. Certainly cleaning the ground up. There's no real way to turn it off. Guessing that grass ain't coming back. Okay. Close enough for government work. So now I want to roll it round this way and go down the field. This is not so easy without something like GPS to control it. We'll do the best we can. We'll end up with a relatively square field, maybe. Oh, this is bad. Yeah. Okay. So for this bit, I'm going to have to detach it and fold it up in order to get it out of there. Oh, how do I do that bit? Oh, I can come in. No. I can kind of come in from the other side, but only so far. Unfold. Disconnect. Whoa. Do not roll the tractor. Of course, I could do this with the landscaping tool. Okay. Nope. Disconnect. Move round. Fold it back up again. Yeah, I can't. How does that work? Oh, I have to be up there. Yes. Oh, is there a tree in the way? Yeah. Huh. So I actually need to drive up that bit. Whee! And roll back there. And whoa. Yeah, that's not good. There we go. Connect, fold, unfold. Do I connect? No. There we go. Connect. Unfold. Put it forwards and turn the wheel that way. Get back out of there. Awesome. Let's get out of the trees and see what the rest of the field is. So I want to line that back up there. This is hard work. Okay, that's good. I kind of like grass. It's useful stuff to have around. Not that the cows think so. So, get back along there. Oops. That might be a little bit close to where I want the edge of the field to be. I'll drive along here. Chop the end of the fields off. So how does that look now? Reasonable. Really can't be bothered to make it any straighter. So now I want to run this over here and straighten up that edge, turn the help blocks off. Patch there, and I'm going to call that done too. So there we go. Back P, garage, leased equipment, that one, return, yes. So we now have what do you think? 50% more in that field? So next, let's save the game. Let's turn autosave off. Turn the tractor off. Jump out. Wander over here. And start landscaping. Turn the help key on. Sculpting, yes. So I want to make that smaller, I think, maybe. Left control. Oh, change radius. There we go. Okay. That doesn't seem to be achieving much of any. Oh. Okay. Why am I over here now? I want to go over there again. Oh, I see. Terrain cannot be modified here. Fair enough. Oh, I do not own this land. Well, that explains it. I guess I don't own... I don't own this land either. Well, that sucks. Why is it doing that? Come back over here. No. Oops. That's even worse. And has not cost me much in the way of money. So what's raise? Raise is that. Yeah, that's awkward. But I'm pretty sure I do own this land here. Oh no. So what I'm trying to do is smooth this out so that it's not as rough driving over it. Raise is that. Not going to let me raise that. Oh, that actually removes the shrubs too. That's cool. Great. If I'd known that. So where's my tractor? So I cannot modify the road. I'm guessing if I bought the other side of the street, I would be able to. That's going to be rough. But this bit here, not quite so bad, or not quite so pronounced. Oh, that bit is. So I could modify that bit, and then this bit over here should be a little bit gentler. Yeah. So, not entirely bad. Grab that trailer and piece of, put the wood in the back of it. What geographical regions? In this game there are 3 maps. One is Europe, one is North America, and this one is South America, supposedly Paraguay. But then what you farm in each, it really doesn't matter. I can grow cotton here, I can grow stuff that you would never see in this part of the world, like sunflowers. Oh, why am I here? Come on, that's not nice. So, what I'm going to do here, seriously, behave. There we go. I got rid of that bit. And I can always remove these if I feel the need. So that's kind of cool. And it's really not, doesn't seem to be costing me much in the way of money to smooth out this ground. Back. Escape. Auto save 15 minutes and hush you. You can save that. Back. Get in the tractor. But as more as more modders produce maps, different areas of the world are covered. In Farm Sim 17, I believe there was an Australian map, some Midwest American maps, UK maps, various European countries, Eastern Europe. So the variety will increase as the modders start producing more maps for us. So we will drop this off. I'm going to need to buy a pickup or something sometime to take the eggs to market. I could probably take them in this trailer. I'm not sure I can take them in this trailer in flatbed mode. I suppose we could test it and see. Whoa. Jump the tracks. So, tiny little piece of wood. $37. Now normally when I select a map that I'm going to play for a long time, I will usually Google the area that it's based in and see typically what crops they would grow there. And then I would play my farm as if it was a genuine farm in that area. So for my main FS17 map was Lawfolds, which is in Scotland, and predominantly they grow barley. Occasionally, their second most prosperous crops are typically things like wheat, oats, other cereal grains. So in Farm Sim 17 you didn't have access to oats. You had barley, you had wheat. Typically they do not grow sunflowers because it doesn't get sunny enough there to produce the crop. They do produce sugar beets and potatoes, and they also produce within the last couple of years they've started producing maize or corn as an animal feed, but not for human consumption. Okay. So on Lawfolds I've started growing corn, but I only feed it to my pigs, or I'll forage it for silage. Okay, well, here I actually want to check how much that ground there is costing me. $3.92. That's going to be a while. I'm guessing if I could afford to buy that land, I would then be able to modify that road where the chicken coop is and level that off a bit. Eventually I think I do want to buy this land because that's where I'm going to put my house. Oh, they did say that houses were cheaper, didn't they? Farmhouse. Nope, still 350. Okay. I will speed up time a little. It's gonna be a while before those are ready. I didn't speed up time. There we go. So we're going to need to lime the new part of that field. I would probably wait until the crop is harvested before I do that, because you generally don't want to put lime down on fresh crops. So for the first time on this map, let's take a look at contracts. They want us to fertilise 29. That's a lot of money. It's probably a lot of fertiliser, and 29 is huge. Yeah, I don't want to do that with my stuff. $31. Get paid well for that. $31, kind of big. Wouldn't mind 21 or 22 there. That would be a little bit more my style. 25 harvesting. Fertilizing 6, fertilizing 9. 6 is there. 9 is... oh, we could do 9. 9's good. I'll do that. And that's changed to borrow items rather than lease them. But it still says lease there. Okay, field 9. Let's go for that. I think there's a couple of logging maps. Yeah, one of them is based in the far north. Must admit, while I do a lot of logging, I don't play... I'm not playing Logging Simulator, I'm playing Farming Simulator, so most of the stuff I concentrate on is farming stuff. Agriculture or animals. So we want to go to field 9 and do this. Move over a little bit more. So yeah, someone was asking on Arthur's stream, do you get reimbursed? No. What I use here is my fertilizer on their field, and I have to pay for the fertilizer out of what they're paying me. So the compensation for this job is effectively including the fertilizer I'm putting down. So I want to be as efficient as possible in laying this out there. If I do too close of an overlap, I'm wasting fertilizer. I'm drifting off the edge of the field, which is a waste of about maybe 10% of what I'm putting down. Don't think I saw that one. I think there was one based in a swamp, wasn't there? was that other farm where you had to clean, you owned a bunch of fields, but the fields had trees in, so you had to chop down all the trees before you could actually use the fields for crops. And the farmyard was all a mess, so you had to pick up stuff in the farm in order to clean up the yard and make it habitable. I mean, for me, most of my tree felling operations are either down to this tree is in the way, I need it gone, so I can either expand a field or so I can harvest along the edge of the field because it keeps donking into the roofs of my tractors and my harvesters, or it's I've got nothing constructive to do right now, so I'll chop down some trees for a little bit more money. Especially, playing Farm Sim 17 with seasons, you needed more income at the beginning because you started off with the equipment you started off with and maybe $20,000, pounds, or whatever, euros, and that was it. And you had to make it all the way to fall before you could harvest anything. You had to buy the fertilizer, you had to buy the seed, and you had to buy the gas or diesel. And so you needed some other form of income. So running out to a field and chopping down a bunch of trees and selling them was a good way to supplement your money, at least in that first year, in order to make the farm profitable on crops. On law folds, I carried on doing it. Every time I wanted, I need a forage harvester, I'll go down and massacre 200 trees, and that should be enough to buy a new forage harvester. But that's the only time I've really done it for money. All of the other times, this map included, all I've done is I chop down some trees to make room for the chicken coops, and I chop down some trees to increase the size of field 12. But I'm not aiming to go into a full-scale logging operation on this farm. That's not what this farm's about. But I'm not averse to chopping down lots of trees. See the stats on law folds. I've massacred whole forests of trees. And what's kind of odd on that map, I haven't collected the 100 nuggets for the $1 million. All I've done is chop down trees and sold them for $1 million. But my style of map is usually a sort of European style map, much like the ones Black Sheep Modding did with Old Stream Farm and the Valley the Old Farm, or British maps which Oxygen David and Bullet Bill tend to produce, because I'm more familiar with that sort of countryside. But big American maps, not so much interested in. I mean, you can get out the really huge equipment, but I kind of like this small personal equipment. How are we doing? We've still got a lot left, so we're going to get this one done. Trouble. Missed that corner, but I'm not going to have to go down the entire length of this field to get this contract done. And for those of you that still want to see Farm Sim 17 played, I play my Law Falls farm on Saturday mornings. It's what I consider to be a mature farm. I've been playing it for over 450 hours. I have some very large equipment. I got a Class Lexion 700 harvester, the Axion's 940 tractor, which has about 380 horsepower, Azerion, can't remember the model number on that, but that's got over 400 horsepower. Most of the equipment I'm using is 12 meter wide equipment. I can't really go much bigger because I wouldn't get it through the gates on the fields, because it is a Scottish farm. There we go. Turn that off and save the rest. So that field's done. What else we got? Fertilizing field 2. Could run over and do that. We got so 27, 10, 8. Oh, 7 wants fertilizing. Eight wants fertilizing. 10 wants baling. Wow. So what did I say? 17. 7. Let's find 7 again. Okay. I don't think I have enough fertilizer to do 7 and 8. Maybe close that I've got fertilizer to do 7, to be honest. But we'll see how we do. The reason I'm picking off all the fertilizing contracts is because I'm in a tractor that has a fertilizer on the back. So it's easier to just run around in this one tractor. I'm trying to keep it local to where my farm equipment is. And this time I didn't make it close enough to the edge, so we'll move over a bit. And off we go. Raise that off the ground a bit. So one of the reasons I like this spray is because it doesn't have an auxiliary front tank at the front. So it doesn't carry as much as a spray that does have an auxiliary tank at the front. However, this back tank carries more liquid fertilizer than the setup that does require or does provide a front tank. This carries 2,200 litres. I think the other tractor mounted sprayers only carry about 1,500. Now, having a tank on the front isn't such a big a deal, but they cost more as well. When you're starting up, you kind of like to save as much costs as you can. How are we doing? That's about a third of what I had left, I think. And this is going to probably take 4 or 5 passes, so I'm going to have to go shopping halfway through this. Yeah, I noticed someone was talking about the biogas plant earlier. Something I have yet to investigate. But I have heard reports that you can now pour silage from a tipper trailer into the digester, which would be awesome. It's the problem I had on Old Stream Farm. I didn't use baling equipment at all. Because the fields were so small, it was just easier to use a loading wagon. And so I'd run around with a loading wagon, collect the grass, empty it into the silage bunker, and then I'd use a front loader to load a truck up with silage. But then when you get to the biogas plant, in spite of the fact that they give you a ramp so that you could drive up it and tip, the digester would not accept silage out of the back of the tipper. And the way I got around that was I used a belt. And I had a belt at the bottom that I could empty the tipper into, and then the belt would unload into the silage bunker or the digester, and that would work. So apparently you can tip in this game, so I wouldn't need a belt in order to bring silage from wherever I live to the BGA. Okay, I am going to get to... Oh, this is not even halfway, so woefully underestimated how many trips up and down the field this was going to take. So as soon as I get to the end of this run, I think I should have enough fertilizer to do that. I'm going to have to make a run down to the store again. Ooh, I might not even make it to the end of the row. Yeah. Ding and fold. Oh, I need to clean this tractor. Okay, let's go. Almost looks like it's been raining here, although you don't get puddles in Farm Sim. Okay, how do we get out of here? Oh, nobody behind me. So we are now up to 101,000. Which makes this the second most profitable farm I've had. And I also have far fewer hours on this map than I do on my personal farm. So, liquid fertilizer. That will be there. There. That filling, yes. So, new mods that dropped today. Did I add them? I believe here we now have the Lamborghini. A rather fetching shade of white. Engine setup 224, 245, 263. Okay. Wheel setup standard with weights, wide. Oh, that's just a wide at the back. Wide with weights. Rear twins. Is it me, or did the tyres on the right look wider than the tyres on the left? Okay. Twin wheels. Oh, that will be some more at the front. I'm guessing that's optics then, because okay. Back to standard. So no narrows, and you can have a front loader attacher. Cool. Also, in mowers, we now have the Lely mower set, which that's 3.1 and 8.4, that's 3.2 and 9 meters, so better width on that. And you're paying an extra 1,000 on that one and an extra 7,000 on that. No options. So what you see is what you get. And we should be full. There we go. Okay, let's head back to field 7 and finish that off and get paid. Is this my turn? No. Don't think so. Used to be the silage bunker in FS17. I still think all these buildings here should have been decorations. I can't get out there. Yeah, you've got this swimming pool in the middle of nowhere. know if you could. I don't know how the setup works in order to try and make that a piece of a decoration. But it kind of looks silly to have all those buildings just sitting there, and the most logical place to put the house is obviously where it's supposed to be on the Farm Sim 17 map. I kind of look at that and say, well, no, I don't want my farm there. I actually want my farm at the back of the map where I've started it. And once I can afford the land, I'm going to purchase the land back there and place my house back there. And it would be nice to be able to have some decorations to go with it. And unfortunately on this map, there are no decorations to go with it. Fold. At least there didn't used to be. Yeah, the only decoration is the sandcastle. And maybe I want, it'd be nice to have those decorations that I can put anywhere. But they won't let me. And yet on Ravensport and Felsbrunn, you have the farmhouse and you have the decorations that you can put anywhere on the map you want to. So anybody have any other questions or comments that we can discuss? What do you think? 2 more trips? $10.30. Now all the mods I'm using on this map are available in the mod hub. The local time that's displayed right at the top right hand side of the map of the screen, that is available on the mod hub, but you have to click on the select all mods to be able to find it. By default it only shows the most popular mods, and obviously the most popular mods are the ones that Giants worked on. do find that handy to have on the screen. I used it in Farm Sim 17 so I could keep track of what the time is, because I play in full screen mode, so I can't see the time on the taskbar at the bottom of my computer. And while I have a monitor next to me on a second computer, it means taking my eyes away from the game screen entirely and refocusing my incredibly old eyes and more specifically, when I play alone, I may be watching someone's YouTube video on full screen on the other monitor, in which case I don't have a clock in sight at all. Probably something I should consider having in this room is a clock on the wall. But you kind of get used to it. Back when I lived in the UK, initially I had my computer on a computer desk in the living room, and whenever I wanted to know what the time was, I would look at the VCR, and it became habit. You know, oh, what's the time? Look down. Oh, it's, you know, whatever time it was. And eventually, I moved the computer. I bought a nice computer desk and moved the computer into one of the bedrooms, which I used as an office. And at that point, I got really annoyed because I'd be sitting at the computer wondering what the time was. And it's sort of, it was so much easier when I was in the living room, because I could look on the VCR, completely failing to notice that there's a clock on the computer screen at the bottom right on the taskbar. It took me months to get used to looking at that rather than looking down and to my left at the VCR that wasn't there anymore. Okay, we'll fold that up. We're up to 104,000. Oh, because we bought some. I have not worn a watch since the early 1990s. Now, I used to wear a watch all the time. Everywhere I went, I wore a watch. It was the only piece of jewellery I had. And when I got a cell phone, the watch strap broke for the 50th time, and I decided I can't be bothered to buy a new one. Plus, I've got a cell phone. I can look at my cell phone to find out what the time is. But I don't sit at my desk with a cell phone next to me. So I can't really, it's not something I do would be to reach over and pick up a cell phone to look at the time when I'm at my desk. So we've done all that. Come on. I wish I could do something about that ramp, but I think the only way I'm going to be able to do something about it is to sell the barn, or sell the shed, and smooth out that ground and then put a new shed in. And if I did that, I'd probably put the sheds with the doors, these ones. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oh. Put something like that down. They've got doors, they've got lights inside, but they cost a little bit more than that does. That's 1, 2, 3, that's a 4-bay shed. So that one there, 37.5, and that's only 9. So it'd be a while before I buy something like that. Anyway, let's check what the fields are up to. We're up here. So we are growing canola and soybeans. They're both growing to a reasonable extent. They're both fully fertilised. So all we really have to worry about is the what do you call it? Weeds. That's 354. Can't afford that for a while. That's 251. See, the big mistake I made here was I own all of this land and all of this land, and yet, turn the map overview off, the fields don't reach the entire area. I've lost, there's a lot of waste ground on those two plots. Whereas if you buy something like that field, you're pretty much buying the entire usable land. That's got extra ground down there. That's got a lot of waste ground. One includes the entire farmhouse area. So that's a lot of waste ground. Whereas 2 is the field, 3 is the field. When you start out, you kind of want to make sure that you own as much usable land as possible, which is why I spent all of the last session and this session extending that field up. You can see it when I do that. I mean, I've effectively added another 50% of usable farmland to that field for the cost of leasing leasing a plough, a stump grinder, buying a chainsaw, and then leasing a roller. Okay, so that's done. I don't have any spare crops because I don't have a silo. So how's the chickens? Chickens have 69. New chicken in 10 hours. I believe I started with 10, so we've got 3 more chickens than we started with. We're on our way to breed 100 chickens achievement. It's going to be a while. The other thing I've noticed on my other farm, I bought 2 different types of sheep, and they have separated breed rates, so it's not combined. So if I buy more white chickens, it will reduce the reproduction rate time on white chickens. But if I bought brown chickens, the brown chickens would come under a completely different heading. I'd still be breeding white chickens at 1 per 19 hours. And if I had 5 brown chickens, it may be 1 per 25 hours. So, something to be aware of. If you buy everything the same, they will breed a lot quicker than if you buy, white chickens, brown chickens, whatever other chicken flavours there are. I don't even know. Oops. Didn't turn the engine off of that. Where do we put chickens? Chickens go in there. So yeah, you can buy white chickens, black chickens and brown chickens. So if you buy black chickens and white chickens and brown chickens, they're all going to breed within their own group. And when you get to the point where the white chickens are breeding, they will produce a new white chicken. There's no chance that they will produce a black chicken. So for the fastest breed rate, make sure all your chickens are the same colour, all your sheep are the same colour, all the cows, and possibly the pigs. I've never checked out the pigs. I don't know what's in that. So, there we go. I am gonna call it a night. It's 11:15. And we will be American Truck Simulator with the trucking team on Thursday with Arthur. Friday will be the multiplayer farm on Arthur's Farm. And Saturday morning I'll be back in Lawfolds. I might be back in Lawfolds. We're probably going to have our former foster kids coming to stay, and so that makes streaming difficult over the weekend. But I'll see what I can do about that. I may, but that's not guaranteed, play some American Truck Simulator tomorrow in order to get a multiplayer account up and running, and with a couple of levels under him so he can pick up longer range or longer distance jobs. But thank you for watching, and what shall we do now? I think I will just leave it there. Thank you for watching. Have a good end of the day and a good day tomorrow. Normally my day off, so guaranteed to see you Thursday. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow night, but that's not a guarantee. And have a good night. This is me signing off.